Liam was a small boy in a town so tiny that the days felt like thin sheets of paper, easy to fold, easy to lose. One main street ran through the center, a single clock never quite struck on time, and houses leaned toward each other like old friends whispering secrets. In a narrow home with peeling paint and a window that always fogged in winter, Liam lived with his mother. His father had died when Liam was only 6 months old. His absence was a quiet, constant shadow, a missing space at the edge of the bed, a silence at dinner that never learned to speak. His mother worked from sunrise to midnight. She stitched, washed, and mended, trading time for bread. Some nights, they had enough to eat. Most nights, little else. Liam went to school in patched clothes and shoes whose soles were more rumor than footwear. The other children, loud, pigtailed, leather-jacketed, noticed immediately. They circled him like a small storm. "You smell like old bread," one sneered. "Look at his shoes," another said. "He's a beggar." Their words hit Liam like pebbles. He never threw them back. He looked down at the cracks in the pavement, at ants marching with urgent purpose, anything but faces. Shame settled on him like a cloak, compacting him, keeping him invisible, keeping him safe. One hot morning, the town shimmered. Heat rose from the cobblestones, curling around the market stalls, the river, the sleeping dogs. Liam trudged to school, his satchel strap biting into his shoulder, when he noticed a boy he had never seen before. The boy sat on the curb beneath a faded awning, palms on the dusty ground, eyes following children as they ran and shouted. He had no legs, the place where legs should have been folded in soft cloth. Liam stopped mid-step. Other children rushed past, lost in laughter. The boy looked up and smiled, a private joke shared with the world. Without curiosity or pity, he said, "Your shoes are nice." Liam's world shifted quietly, like a hand sliding across a tabletop, rearranging everything. He looked at his shoes, torn, patched, laces more string than lace, and then at the boy. The contrast unraveled the shame tightly wound in his chest. A new feeling crept in, gratitude. Warm, quiet, and stubbornly bright. That night, the boy's words hummed in Liam's mind. He imagined running, feeling the air rush, the ache in calves as proof of life. If a boy without legs could watch others run and smile, what right did he have to hide? When taunts began again, Liam stood taller. Words ricocheted off him like pebbles from a hardened shore. "At least I can run," he said one day, surprising even himself. "Some children cannot." The laughter faltered. The bullies glanced at each other, unsure if cruelty could continue without rules. Something had opened in Liam, like a window to light. He no longer wanted to disappear, he wanted to build. He helped his mother more. He stuttered not because he had to, but because letters and numbers began to make sense, small victories glittering like stones. After school, he worked, cleaning shoes at the station, selling newspapers at dawn, carrying parcels for merchants who tipped with coins or smiles. Work taught him more than scrubbing leather. It taught patience, discipline, and the quiet value of steady movement. He saved every coin. While other boys played soccer, Liam polished shoes on the station bench until the reflections shone like mirrors. One evening, steam rose from a passing train. A man in a neat suit stopped, watching Liam with gentle attention. "Why do this instead of playing like the others?" the man asked. Liam looked at the polished shoes and answered simply, "Because I want to build a life where no one laughs at others to feel strong." The man's face softened. He placed a larger coin in Liam's hand, a seed disguised as a gift, and walked away. Years threaded into a tapestry. Liam learned trade, business, reading balance sheets, understanding supply and demand. He worked, saved, and dreamed. Whenever life bent him low, illness, refused loans, biting winters, he remembered the boy on the curb. That small figure became a lantern he carried. In his late teens, with a handful of coins, a borrowed bicycle, and a head full of plans, Liam opened a tiny market stall. He sold wildflowers, priced so even the poorest could afford color. He added candles, books, and small handcrafted items from families struggling to be seen. He called the stall Bloom. People laughed. "Flowers in this heat," they said. "Why waste time?" Liam worked under the sun, voice soft, steady. Customers came for cheap blossoms, then stayed for the way he listened, for the warmth of being truly seen. The stall grew into a shop, then a workshop. Word spread. Bloom found rhythm. Liam kept careful ledgers, not just of money but of promises. Bloom became Bloom Empire, a name born of audacity that stuck. Liam gave space to those who had none. Bakers, seamstresses, families making goods by hand, he brought them into the fold. Bloom became marketplace, school, stage. Liam traveled to speak in auditoriums, but he remembered the mud, the station, and the smell of sweat. Success arrived in strange ways. Articles calling him the boy who cleaned shoes and sold flowers, investors, orders from foreign countries. Liam became a CEO, a speaker, a figure in glossy magazines. He flew in planes, rode limousines, yet kept his first pair of shoes in his office, not as ornament, but scripture. Scuffed, stitched, half-laced. Visitors asked why. Liam smiled quietly. They remind me, success isn't where you start. It's what you decide to build with what you have. Years later, Bloom Empire supported thousands. The boy without legs, Amin, became one of Liam's advisors. They opened schools, microloan programs, and the town where Liam once walked rebloomed. Children learned small acts meticulously, and the small things, coins, smiles, sentences spoken without condescension, accumulated into something larger. Liam wore suits, spoke on grand stages, yet the thinness of those first days remained a tattoo beneath his skin. On nights when city lights erased stars, he touched his old shoes, remembered summer heat, the boy's smile, his mother's hum as she wrapped flowers. Once, a child in patched sleeves entered Bloom. She handed him a coin, wanting a book. Liam led her to a stack of stories folded like shelter. Bloom Empire was not charity, it was possibility. And when people asked what success meant, Liam said gently, "It's not the money. It's the moment, a small moment, that wakes the soul." The empire begins with broken shoes. In his town, a new clock struck on time. Gardens grew on rooftops. Children ran together. Liam walked the streets each spring, bouquet in hand, leaving coins where the boy had one Saturday. He would watch the children, sometimes sprint, not to prove anything, but to remember air in lungs, the world expanding, gratitude alive. The story of Liam was simple enough for a headline, complicated enough to live in 1,000 hearts. A boy with broken shoes built an empire. Yet Liam knew the secret. Empires, like gardens, grow one small, true thing at a time. Gratitude, smiles, honest hands, these hold the world together.